Haven't gone live in a second. What's up, everybody? Let's talk about the way of the billionaire. I'm working on a book. This is going to be the title. It's what I've learned from billionaire mentors, both in person and from studying them. So I think it's a pretty interesting subject. You don't have to want to be a billionaire to learn from billionaires, just like you don't have to want to be a pro basketball player to learn from their techniques. Like even if you're just an amateur, you know what I'm saying? So the way of the billionaire, the concept for this book I started writing is just like, what have I learned from billionaire interactions that I've had? I have mentors. I've paid billionaires to learn from them. I've befriended them. And, now I own a pretty big holding company where I'm interacting with billionaires. I have 2 business partners that are billionaires. So what's up, Renee? How are you? So let's just go through like what I've learned in this way of the billionaire that I think maybe applies to somebody who's watching, who's an entrepreneur, even if you're just like making your first $100 a month. I just met today with the founders of protein.com. They're doing well. It's a big business in Sweden. I'm in Sweden right now. I have offices in Copenhagen and Stockholm. You know that Sweden has 5 times the billionaires as the United States per capita? Pretty interesting. Everybody thinks like America's the richest place. But so anyway, in this ebook that I'm coming out with, there's a couple things, and there's been a lot of studies scientifically of high performing people who perform financially, whether they're billionaires or worth 100 million. What would you guess is like the personality trait most attributed to people who, let's say, make a net worth for themselves of over 100 million bucks? What would you guess? Some people guess greed, exploitation, but what do you really think it is? Like, what does science say? There's a ton of scientific studies. My mentor, Dr. David Buss, he's from Harvard, University of Austin now. He sent me some really interesting deep science on this. So what do you think it is? Smoke weed every day? Definitely not. Definitely disagreeable. Now, there is some science that people with low agreeableness make more money, but you have to look at that within the full context of all the personality traits. I would say billionaires that I negotiate with, buy companies from, I wouldn't say they're totally disagreeable. They're disagreeable when they think an item is extremely important. Then they don't listen to anybody. So conscientiousness, what else? You think more risk averse or not? The way of the billionaire for this book. Do you think the average billionaire takes more risks? This one's relatively simple. You don't have to be a fucking genius to get this one. So more risk tolerance, number 1. Higher levels of organization, better daily routine, for example. Okay, what else? Number 3, somebody asked who I'm talking to. I'm live on like 4 different places: Twitter, YouTube, Insta, and TikTok. So the 4th thing that billionaires have, this is an interesting one. They don't fucking start the businesses that make them rich. And that's really the point of this talk. That's really the point. They don't start the businesses. Who started Tesla? Pop quiz. Who started Tesla? Because I got everybody on social media. It's all about hustle. It's all about wealth. Like you look on TikTok, you look on Insta, everybody becoming an entrepreneur, which is great. I remember starting on social media. Like I really started in 2013. And I was like, not many people, man. There was Gary Vee. There was Tim Ferriss. There was me. I was kind of starting out 2013, 2012. Now everybody's like, you go on TikTok and everybody's teaching you about how to make money. Somebody made a mill, so now they're going to teach everybody, which is fine. I don't have any hate on it. I like to, you got to learn from people who are 20 years ahead of you. So I'm at this point in the game, my holding company, my companies are set to do over 700 million in revenue this year. So I have to hunt down higher level mentors than I had to 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Now I own bigger stuff. So this year I was with Tillman Fertitta. He's on the Forbes list, $6-7 billion net worth, and learning from him. So in the way of the billionaire, the key thing that I would want y'all to take away is at some point you got to buy somebody else's business. That's what you got to do. And that's the myth of the entrepreneur. And everybody thinks a billionaire had a great idea. Who started Instagram? Wasn't Mark Zuckerberg. Who got wealthy off of it? Zuckerberg. Who started most of the Louis Vuitton brands? Last year, the richest man in the world was Bernard Arnault, the billionaire who, started the Louis Vuitton group. He bought 60 companies to build his wealth. 60. Who's the second richest man in the world? The Indian guy. He has a holding company. He buys other people's businesses. Jeff Bezos bought Whole Foods. Not that I think didn't he just buy MGM? Warren Buffett bought 100 people's other businesses. So somebody said, way to get rich, have a shit ton of money. It's more like, of course, like, no shit, dude. Welcome to the unfair way of the world. I didn't grow up with any money. You got to figure out how to capitalize what you want to do. So the real thing that nobody talks about is the real way of the billionaire is people who buy other people's distressed assets. That's the one right there. That is the fuck. Bill Gates bought DOS. Steve Jobs didn't come up with the mouse. The mouse came, they took it from IBM. In that case, they didn't even steal it. Ray A. Kroc did not start McDonald's, but he became the richest man in America by buying it from the McDonald's brothers. So that's the way of the billionaire that nobody talks about because it sounds more complex. So everybody just wants to say, all right, if you hustle and work hard, now you're gonna, you're on this $1 billion track. But it's hard to make over 100 million in revenue from stuff you start yourself. You can do it. It just takes 10, 20 years. Elon Musk in let's say between 2004 and 2006, he put $6 million. I think that's the rough number, into his initial investment when Tesla founders were having a hard time. He invested capital in. And every 100,000 he put in is worth $900 million now. Somebody wrote, Ty can talk about this guy can talk about a whole bunch of nothing. Bro, you're too stupid to understand what I'm saying. That's why it sounds like nothing. People too stupid. If you hear this talk and you think I'm talking about nothing, you're too stupid. This is what life comes down to. I'm literally giving you the shit that no motherfucker on all social media told you. Who told you this? Name one person on social media. No, tell me one fucking viral influencer who just told you the truth. Except me. Name one. What am I drinking? This is a mix of chia seeds, hemp, and a little hemp seeds in there. Get a little fiber in your water. I have my assistant put out 4 of these so then I know how much to drink. Ty, first video I've ever seen of you. Yeah, I haven't been time to do social media in a long time. I always go wherever, I always get in early, and then when everybody starts doing it, I go do something else. Like everybody, dude, when I was doing social media, I could spend $100,000, let's say $50,000 a day on YouTube ads, and I could make $100,000 the same day. You can't do that shit anymore. I was in early. Like almost nobody makes that kind of profit margin anymore. So now I go do other stuff. Now I let everybody compete to be the next social media influencer. I already been there. I already did it. Am I investing in crypto? Yep. I still own all the crypto I bought. I posted a video in 2006. Somebody said, Ty, you only buy shitty companies with no revenues. Bro, I just bought bodybuilding.com. I got more fucking traffic than GNC, more traffic than Vitamin Shop, 9-figure revenue. What are you talking about? People don't even know. People all still think I just bought Dress Barn. Man, I've been snatching up shit. Once this economy tanks in the next 2 months, I'll be buying more stuff. Can't phase me. Haters, you can't phase me. Y'all are too amateur. It's funny, when I first started with social media, like 2014, it's like, boom. You get haters and they're like, fuck, is this real? And it like affects you, you know? So you just, yeah. Buy contacts. I actually have LASIK. I wear these because then people, when I do live, that's what people expect you to look like. You got to keep the damn brand, you know? You know? So what am I doing now? I own a whole bunch of companies. If you go to Retail E-commerce Venture, just type in Ty Lopez Wall Street Journal. I just took over a publicly traded company that did 700 million in revenue last year. 487 stores in the United States. So it's a nice wig. I ain't got no wig. I got my hair pulled back though. If I let my hair be out, like men are very sensitive to the looks of other men now. It's very funny. On social media, like dudes are very affected by how guys look. Like if this dude looks fucking stylish, they're like, that's a fucking alpha, bro. Like if you dress right, you're an alpha. Shit. If you're a fucking alpha, you you know who's an alpha? Who's an alpha? Who knows who I'm about to say? Who's a comedian who dresses in baggy shorts and makes all these movies and makes a couple $100 million at a time? You know what I'm saying? Who am I talking about? Adam Sandler. That's right. Adam Sandler is fucking, y'all are too affected by how guys look. I learn a lot from social media. That's why I come live. Come live on 4 or 5 channels. Keeps me in tune with where the world's at right now, how easily influenced the world is by things. I see that TikTok's manipulating the world. Probably, you could argue, whether is it for good or for bad. I mean, some stuff's for good. People are in better shape now because they see that other people are fucking thin and in good shape. It's probably good for lowering obesity in the world. At the same time, there's too much of an echo chamber. Even people, and I always am interested that people that think they're super contrarian and counterculture, I'm like, you're not counterculture, man. Counterculture is literally doing the opposite. Like counterculture would be like what I said that I like to do. When everybody wants to become a social media influencer, I'm on the way out. Shit. Too many motherfuckers are social media influencers. It's gonna be tough to make a lot of money. You can still be a social media influencer, don't get me wrong. But to me, it's a means to an end. It's like, don't get high off your own supply. My dad went to prison for selling cocaine, Terminal Island, Long Beach, California. But my dad made the mistake of using the drugs, you know, like the old Snoop Dogg thing. So for me, social media is just a means to an end. I'm on here talking to you all, partly because I like helping people. People think that I just did it for the money. But dude, I was making money 10 years before I got on Instagram or YouTube. 10 years. I had a Ferrari in like 2000. People were like, oh, this guy rented a Ferrari 2016. I'm like, bro, I had a Ferrari in like 07. I like helping people. I kind of made a vow to myself that if I figured out how to make money, I'd share it with other people because that was a big problem. My dad was from Harlem. He tried to make money the only way he knew how, sell cocaine, sold to an undercover cop across country, FBI agent. And that's why he went to prison. You can see on my Instagram, my baby pictures in Terminal Island. So like my dad wanted to be, he was ambitious, but because of the constraints of where he lived, he could not figure out how to make that money. And a lot of you are like that. A lot of you are constrained. There's a lot of poor people in the world. I grew up in a mobile home. So to the extent that you are in the echo chamber, you're going to be stuck in that. You know, I see people on TikTok, they're like, here's my journey, bro. Like 6 months ago, I was working in McDonald's and then I did this and now I traded some crypto or did this and now they show little flashes. They're going to Dubai and shit like that. I'm like, that's not how it works, man. Blood, sweat, and tears. Empires are built with blood and violence. And not necessarily criminal violence, but shit, behind half the I'll tell you another thing about the way of the billionaires. Behind half the billionaires, they're not telling you the full story. There's bodies in the Vegas desert, my friend. Same with crypto. You think all these crypto motherfuckers made money by just starting an exchange and doing fuck, there's bodies. There's buried bodies, man. So that's why I said, you know what, this book I'm working on, The Way of the Billionaire, you don't necessarily have to emulate all parts of the billionaire's life. You know, I paid Steve Ballmer $250,000 to have dinner with him somewhere on my Instagram. It's when he owned the Clippers. I sat there with 2 hours just learning from him, asking him direction on my business. Should I sell my company? Should I buy new ones? And he's worth, at the time, he's worth about 50 billion. I think now he's worth between 50 and 100. I learned a lot. So to me, everybody, I think of myself like Robin Hood of knowledge. Okay, Robin Hood took from the rich and gave to the poor. I consider myself poor in knowledge, and I keep that mentality, and I'm just going out and what can I learn? I've had long conversations with Elon Musk. He used to go to a lot of stuff that I went to in Hollywood. Elon Musk likes Hollywood. He won't say that, but he does. There's no famous people who don't like attention. Just remember that. The second a famous person tells you they're introverted and they don't like attention, just call bullshit. It's kind of like there's no bodybuilders that aren't somewhat narcissistic. Like my dad was a pro bodybuilder. Like you fucking like looking at your body. That's just, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't even think about in right or wrong. It's just the necessary conditions to get that. You have to be that way. So you want to make a lot of money, you're going to be a strong-willed, high-risk taker, yet highly organized. You will be more honest than people think. As I buy complicated companies, if you Google Ty Lopez Wall Street Journal, you'll see about 2-3 weeks ago an article where I put together an SPV and I became the executive chairman of a publicly traded company called Tuesday Morning. We injected $32 million into the company to shore up the balance sheet. It was a complex transaction, but people are more honest than you think. Manhattan has more honest people. Everybody says, oh, private equity people, because there's a lot of high IQ people and they can tell if you're lying. So people are forced to be more honest. They're not necessarily honest out of virtue, but they're honest out of necessity. So one of the things in the way of the billionaire is that there's what I would call a necessitous honesty there, not a virtuous honesty. But you could argue who really is honest. You think you're really honest? You fucking using an iPhone, bro, that was put together by child labor. You don't give a shit. The ethics of people who call out other people as ethics is always suspect. Always. People are like, Ty, you were using, social media to make money. I'm like, you would have done the same way. If you were smart enough, you would have done the same way. It just isn't that easy to do. So it's always easy to call out the ethics of other people, but oftentimes other people are more ethical out of stupidity, not out of morality. You know what I'm saying? So what else do you think a billionaire has? I mean, look, dude, humans are animals, and even if you're religious, humans are animals. If you're a Christian or Judeo-Christian, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, you believe in the intrinsic sinful nature of man. If you're an atheist, you believe in primal instincts. So, I don't think billionaires do things that other people wouldn't do if they could. In the way of the billionaire that I'm writing this book, I have a section I'm going to write about that. If you took somebody off the street and exchanged them with the billionaire's path, would they truly do everything ethical? I don't know. There's an old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Probably that way with money. Although there's good science that there's a lot of people that are $1 billion that just like chill and don't buy yachts and private jets. I'm here in Sweden and Denmark right now. There's a lot of environmentalists here. And they're like, using a private jet is fucked up. And I see that. I own a lot of organic farms. My argument is that I'm counterbalancing the carbon footprint that I'm emitting when I use private jets by, having huge organic farms that we do things that sequesters carbon. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that. You don't need to be a billionaire to achieve health, wealth, love, happiness. You are correct. The point of my book, which is not out yet, but I'm working on, I was up late last night, early this morning actually. Learn from billionaires, but you don't have to learn everything. And you also can learn what not to do. Do you think money has more power for you after, what is this question? Damn, these are coming in fast on TikTok. By the way, TikTok's gonna destroy Instagram. It's pretty interesting. And I think YouTube Shorts, watch, Google's smart, man. YouTube, Facebook went way too far down this stupid metaverse thing. Fuck metaverse. First off, we're already in the metaverse. I'm right here with, I've got, let me see how many people. I've got 900, 547. Jesus. I got 2,000 people watching this live. That's the metaverse. I'm in another fucking verse. I'm in Sweden, Denmark right now, and you are not. This is the metaverse. So Meta and Facebook, I'm like, why'd you change your name to Meta? Like, what the fuck? It's a strange thing. The Chinese are winning right now, big time. Do you think we're living in a matrix? That's, you know, I saw that, what's the one physicist, Neil Tyson, whatever, DeGrasse or whatever his name is. I believe in more parallel universes, and I do believe somewhat in the power of positive thinking, but not the, I believe that you pick the universe, you know, this concept of parallel universes is very simple. There's infinite, the theory goes, there's infinite universes with variations, infinity permutations. So there's one where I'm wearing a white shirt talking to you. There's one where I'm wearing, you know, blue shirt. Infinity, almost infinity minus one. And in that, what I believe is that you choose which one you want to be in. And you choose it by the feelings, the ambitions you have, but more importantly, by staying in your lane. And I think that that's one of the problems. So I'll tell you this, the way of the billionaire, one of the things that I find with billionaires is that they find where they're strong and they stay in that circle of competence. And what I find on social media, what it's promulgating, what it's promoting is you can be anything. You can't be anything. Even in a world of parallel universes, there's still constraints on us. I was a good high school basketball player. I played on one of the top schools in the United States, Enloe in Raleigh, North Carolina. A lot of pro basketball players came from. John Wall was in my league. You know, Jordan, Stackhouse, Chris Paul. That's how I know Chris Paul. But it wasn't in the cards for me to play pro. I was not good enough to be a pro. And so I don't think there's a parallel universe where I'm a pro basketball player. So I think the way of the billionaire, there's a lot of highly successful people. Take Kobe Bryant, and they visualized, but more importantly, they visualized what their natural competitive advantage is. And if you take away one thing from this live stream, you must find your competitive advantage. My competitive advantage is I probably have two. I can come up with marketing angles and hooks that are very strong. I even did that at a young age. Looking back, I didn't realize it. But looking back, I was able to, it's some kind of I don't call it empathy, but intuition. So that's a strong competitive advantage that I have. I can kind of feel what's going to sell before I even go to sell it. So I try to stay in that lane. And when I move out of that, and I know how to negotiate deals. Because I like psychology. I think it's because I grew up in kind of a fucked up childhood that I had to learn how to read adults. You know, I didn't have a good childhood. I didn't have the worst childhood, but I didn't have a great one. And so if you grew up in that dysfunctional kind of scenario, as a child, you learn how to read people. And that's translated into, I can do complex deals. Like this deal I did with this 700 million revenue company I'm the executive chair of the board now. That was a complex deal. You're talking mid 7 figures legal fees just to complete the deal, 60 lawyers on a call. So as long as I stay in my competitive sphere, then I can move into that parallel universe where I win. And I think you have to do that too, for those of you who want to live an above average life. And the problem is some people are talented at a lot of things and some people ain't talented at that much. Jamie Foxx can do everything. He can sing, he can act, he's funny, he knows how to make money, but not everybody can. You know what I mean? And so, what do you do if you're watching this and you feel like you have no talents? You know? That's a tough one. What do you do if you're watching this and you don't feel like you have enough talent to make money? And I'll give you the straight up truth. Some of you, in fact, most people don't have what it takes to become a billionaire, and who cares? Billionaires, I don't think, live better lives. If you look, there's this thing called the hedonic treadmill. It's an experiment. Like, if you could have infinity pleasure, would you be happier? It's not true you would. If you could have infinity orgasms, they would stop to feel good because the human brain works off contrast. If you're always having an orgasm, then eventually it feels normal. So billionaires, the second they make a lot of money, it feels normal and they become just as happy or unhappy as they were before being a billionaire, right? So I don't think you need to worry, but for those of you who don't feel like you have a talent, I will tell you this. You can make up for it with effort. You can make up with it. You can make up with effort. You know, you can make up and then just stay in your lane. I strongly believe I could take anybody unless they had serious handicaps mentally. Some people have handicaps and you're just not going to be able to compete in the economy necessarily. Although you see people now who have, handicaps that are building businesses. But I'm just saying, if you have severe handicap, but I think I could take almost anybody of even an average IQ, 100. The average millionaire has IQ between 120-ish, which is a little bit above average. The average billionaire for sure is up in the 140s, 150s. I haven't met a billionaire that was remotely low IQ. They're definitely higher IQ. That's why a lot of wealth is you're born with it. But people misunderstand. They think that Elon Musk, for example, was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, or Donald Trump was, but they also inherited the genes of their father, grandfather, grandmother, and mother, who was probably high IQ. So some of the wealth privilege also comes from IQ, because IQ is one of the most heritable of personality, or it's not a trait, but one of the most heritable of, measurable genetic traits. IQ, height, your eye color, your hair color, IQ, narcissism, schizophrenia. These are highly inherited, and some things aren't inherited at all. So Elon Musk and others, you look at most billionaires had pretty smart parents. Bill Gates' dad was one of the top lawyers in the whole state that he lived in. And so if you feel like you don't have that high IQ, you're okay. But just stay in your lane. That lane might be $1 million a year. That lane can be bigger than you think. That lane can be bigger than you think. You can make up for it with sheer effort, and also a little bit of direction, I'm still broke, man. I'm 49 years old, unattractive, and with nothing. I'll tell you, best thing you can do, you got to find somebody to shadow. The way of the billionaire is to shadow someone else. Did you know Mark Zuckerberg was personally mentored one-on-one by Steve Jobs? So was Jack Dorsey, I think, the founder of Twitter. Albert Einstein had a mentor at age 16. Alexander the Great was mentored from, I think, age 14 to age 16, one-on-one by Aristotle, possibly the greatest thinker of all time. And Aristotle was mentored by Plato, and Plato was mentored by Socrates. The way of shadowing is also the way of the billionaire, and the modern school system herds you into a large group and doesn't really mentor you. The modern system is not built around mentorship. And therefore, if this guy said you're 49 and you're broke and you feel like you're stuck, do your best to shadow whoever you can find that's 10 years ahead of where you want to be, Like, just shadow. And people say, how do you shadow? Like, I wanted to learn agriculture, sustainable agriculture, when I was about 20 years old. I flew to Tasmania. I didn't even have money. I used all my last money. I met a guy named Bill Mollison. He's the founder of permaculture. He's now pretty famous. I lived with the dude before he died. And I just showed up and was like, hey, I'll help you. So some of it, like I said, can just be that pure tenacity to say, I'm here. I'm here to help. And so in every city that you're in, there is an investor right now who's 60 years old, and you can be with them right now. You have to hunt them down, What's your opinion of Thomas Sowell? He's centerpiece to MLK and Malcolm. Yeah, I know some of his stuff. I read them. I stay away from politics. I find politics to be less effective than people think. It's a little bit like masturbation. You ain't gonna have a baby. You might think you're creating a lot of activity, but no baby. That's how politics are. The world, most politics, what we attribute to the success of politics is mostly demographic shifts. So crime dropped in the 1990s had nothing to do with Bill Clinton's policing or Giuliani's policing. Not really, maybe minor, 20% causation. Most of that causation was a shift in demographics. People are getting wealthier, across the world. So I'm not a big politics guy. Politics is the greatest example of mental masturbation ever to inhabit the minds and souls of people on social media. Ty, what signs do you see to say the economy is going to crash within 2 months? I think most likely you're going to have what's called stagflation in the economy. So stagflation happened in the 1970s, early 80s for 9 years. Energy prices rose. As energy prices rose, you got to realize, fertilizer, primary source of fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer comes from plastic, from the same source as plastic, comes from petroleum. We have a petroleum-based agriculture, not even counting the diesel fuel in tractors and trucking. So the second, food prices will inflate based on an increase in energy. It's not just your home heating bill. Everything gets expensive. The military, think of the amount of fuel the military uses. Just in exercises. It's a number you can't even fathom, okay? And so what happens, and it's hard to change energy prices really fast. So one of my mentors, his name's Sir Christopher Pissarides. He's from the London School of Economics. He won a Nobel Prize in economics a little while back. I was with him in London. I try to visit him twice a year. He's a mentor. He's not a billionaire, but he's smart. And we were talking about it. He foresees kind of this slow stagnation. Now, the reason I think the stock market won't crash like a 1929 event is actually because of social media. There's a free flow of information now. Hold on, I'm gonna walk with this. There's a free flow of information now that nothing surprises anybody anymore. So therefore, things happen much slower. 1929, everybody got caught by surprise. Right now, half the world's predicting a recession right now. Like, that's like what the world predicts, There we go. That might be a better way. I should have pointed this way. Better light. Put a charger on here. Let's do a Q&A. Let's do a rapid fire. How do you ask to shadow an investor? You got to go after like 3 or 4 of them. Sometimes you got to show up at their door. I know. Do it at their office is better. Do it at their office. Don't people used to show up at my house. That gets insane. Don't always show up at people's house. But offices are places. That's where I went. I met Mike Steinbeck, my first millionaire mentor. And I went to his office. So it wasn't so creepy. Best stocks to invest in. I don't like the stock market that much, unless I control the company. I have a large equity stake in 2 publicly traded companies. One's called Wilhelmina International. It's a Wilhelmina Models. It's the second largest. Well, it's the largest publicly traded model agency in the world. So when I do public stuff, I try to take a controlling interest. Oops, sorry, I dropped the damn Instagram phone. What's your opinion on labor shortage and college degrees? Labor shortage, people are going to be looking for jobs soon. People are going to be looking for jobs. That shit's all temporary. What's my thought on Naval Ravikant? Yeah, he's an interesting philosopher. I try to read a book a day. I'm reading the Pulitzer Prize winning book on Harry Truman. I'm continually cycling through who I listen to. I don't just get stuck on one author. But Naval has sharp stuff. All these guys, Andrew Tate's got smart. We text sometimes on Telegram, me and Andrew Tate. Joe Rogan, these are all sharp sharp people. But I'm not necessarily a cult follower. I believe you build it like a cabinet. I have a cabinet of smart people. President of the United States has 15 people that he listens to. You know, somebody said, Ty, you're also a liar. I love that part. I think there'll always be like 5 million people who think I like rented a house for a day. It's like part of my journey in life to realize that once the masses form an opinion, like there will always be a subset. It's kind of like, you know, there's a subset of, think politicians. There's a subset of people who have a certain opinion about Donald Trump or Biden or Obama. Ain't nothing gonna change their mind. It's kind of like the COVID whole conversation. Like people who believe vaccines will kill you, they ain't never changing their mind. And people who believe they're the greatest thing you've ever done, that also is gonna never end. Oh, did Instagram, dude, Instagram crashes for me. Let me reset my Instagram. Give me a second. All right, let me go back on Insta Live. Dude, TikTok's so much stronger. All I can tell you is goodbye, Meta. They have made some insane mistakes. And I'm not sure they're going to catch the Chinese, man. Go back. TikTok didn't do shit first, man. I didn't do shit first. Instagram did everything first. By the way of the billionaire, as I told you, billionaires do not start as many businesses from scratch as you think. Elon Musk didn't start Tesla. He invested in it when they were having hard times. He's a distressed investor. He put $6 million in. Every 100,000 he put into Tesla is now worth 900 million bucks. So anyway, what was I going to say about that? There was a reason. Shit. Ty, this got your SMMA course, changed your life. I lost it. Sorry, my sound is back. Please recap. I'm just riffing here. I'm just talking about stuff. Oh, I was saying, once people have an opinion of you, whether it's me, there's a subset of the world that thinks that, you know, I rented a Lamborghini for a day or a house. That subset's always going to be there. A guy told me something interesting, really smart guy. One of my mentors, you wouldn't know who he is. He's very undercover guy, but he's a corporate raider. He's like a Carl Icahn guy in New York. He said, people will only remember the highs and lows of your entire life. Isn't that weird? People only remember the highs and the lows. Mark Cuban told me that too. He's like, if you lose, as long as at the end of your life you're a win, everybody will remember you that. You know the guy that started Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders. Man, he was a loser his whole life. He started, I think he literally is like on record for starting the most businesses that fail. He started a hotel, it caught on fire. The dude at like 65 years old started Kentucky Fried Chicken and was remembered that for the rest of his life. And at the same time, Richard Nixon was a powerful president, a powerful politician, a smart dude, but Watergate is all he'll be remembered for, you know? Think of Bill Clinton. Think of Monica Lewinsky. So it's interesting. Think of Kobe Bryant. Dude, at the beginning of Kobe Bryant's career, what did everybody think about Kobe Bryant? He had that big criminal case against him. That's all people talked about. Look, I remember going to the NBA Finals against the Celtics in 2009. People were yelling out stuff from the crowd against Kobe Bryant. Then, towards the end of Kobe's life, all people remember now is he's the greatest, he's the GOAT, he's the ultimate focused person. That's the weird thing. That's why you have to learn mass psychology, man. And the psychology of the masses is very ethereal. It's not, that's why I have a farm. You have to not be around humans too much. I think that one of the greatest, somebody asked me about philosophy, one of the greatest philosophies I ever read was a Native American. I don't even remember who it was. It was like Red Cloud or something. And it says, what is man without the beast? You should have a lot of animals around you, not just dogs and cats either. I have a farm, I have horses, I have cows, I have sheep. Man, that's a better life. Humans, I'm not sure if you look at our evolutionary past, the average tribe we lived in had 150 people, and you probably had 500 animals. You know, look at the Maasai in Africa. They're a hunter-gatherer, or not so much, they're a nomadic tribe, mostly with cattle. You got groups of 150 people and large animal groups, larger, more animals. So anyway, just a little side note on if somebody asked me about philosophy. We evolved to be social, but not even just about people. What do I think about Andrew Tate? Smart guy, a lot of smart stuff. You know, got deplatformed probably for saying too much the truth. Remember, you can't tell people everything you know. Let me tell you that right now. I don't tell everybody everything I know. You cannot tell everybody you know. You cannot tell everybody everything you know. It's just not going to work out for you. At best, you'll be able to tell a small tribe of people what you really believe, and even then you have to be careful, you know. But humans evolved probably to be in friendship groups of about 8 people. Interesting, here in Scandinavia, they have the most friends of anybody. America's a very lonely place, man. America has tremendous, modern society, people are lonely. Pretty insane. Do you ever regret buying a Lambo Rolls Royce? Nah, I liked cars. I always liked cars. If I was the only person on earth, I would not go pick up. If I was like, you ever seen that movie with Will Smith where he's like the last dude in New York City or whatever? And he went and got like a Mustang or something. I'm like, you made a big mistake. You should have gone a Rolls Royce or Lamborghini and Rolls Royce are great cars. They're great cars, man. Marcus Aurelius. A lot of people like Stoicism. You know, that's like a common thing. People love Stoicism. I'm not so in love with one philosophy. Stoicism's fine. Epicureanism, I also believe in. Epicureanism is more about living a life of lust and passion. And there's power to that too. You know, there's a power to that too. Somebody said, Kentucky Fried Chicken guy stole the recipe from a slave woman. Is that true? I mean, Colonel Sanders was not in the 1800s. So how was there a slave woman? You mean a former slave? I think the last slave in America, person who went through slavery, died in the 1950s. What business moguls do we know from the 1900s? Well, there's a lot in the 1900s. Elon Musk was in the 1900s. You mean in the 1800s? That's what you must mean. You mean the 19th century. That's a different thing. What book am I currently reading? Harry Truman book. It's called Truman. Read a lot of biographies. Elon Musk says that too. A lot of smart people. I've been teaching people since 2013. Biographies, man. I read the most. I don't read as much business books as you think. Someone said, good to remember, my 30s were a clusterfuck of people trying to turn my life and businesses and God punching me. Somebody says, literally hate humans. Shouldn't hate all humans. It's just, look, man, humans have an exploitative gene. And you probably have it too, by the way, before you get too mad at other people. So exploitation is part of the human experience. Women wear makeup. Men brag about, most men. People say that I faked it till I made it. You know, fake it till you make it. I don't even know what people are talking about specifically. Do men fake it until they make it? Most guys do. I mean, when you go on a date, you're bringing the best version of yourself. There's an element of fake it till you make it. In terms of how extreme you go is another level. Most morality is on a spectrum. It's just on it's a spectrum thing, man. And the people that are most concerned with other people's morality are generally immoral people themselves. Moral people don't think about it. If you go on a date with somebody and you go and like she goes to the bathroom and she has her purse and she says, hey, don't steal out of my purse while I'm gone. Like the thought that if that's in her consciousness, that means she's a thief. No normal person thinks of that. So I get a lot of people that are like, oh, Ty, billionaires are unethical people. I'm like, let me dig deep into your life. Let me take the flashlight of ethics on your life. Like I said, first off, you're writing to me on an iPhone, which without a doubt is an exploitative company that for sure exploits child labor, and you're probably wearing Nikes, which does the same. And you might be buying shit off Shein and Amazon, which does the same. So I kind of believe what Jesus Christ said. Do not judge, for the measure you judge onto others will be measured back onto you. The problem is people don't measure back judgment. I like to do that sometimes. I'm like, let me spotlight you, brother. You are sure that all other people are highly exploitative? You think that, I'll have all these conspiracy theories of who blew up 9/11 and this and that. And I'm like, are you just not the same person because you don't have the guile and skill set to pull that off? Because I bet you if you could run a funnel that would make you $1 million a week, that you would fucking run that funnel. Whether you were selling cheap stuff made in a Chinese sweat factory or not. And I have met people that are very moral. I lived with the Amish for 2.5 years. They probably wouldn't do that, but that's a subset. There's a different set of genes that lives that lifestyle. By the way, being non-exploitative is also genetic. But I'll tell you this, if you study advanced game theory, there's something called hawks and doves theory, tit for tat, they call it. People that, if you are always a dove, if there's too many doves in societies, too many hawks will appear. It's actually a ratio. There will always be a certain amount of psychopaths. This Jeffrey Dahmer thing everybody loves on Netflix for some weird reason. I don't know why everybody's infatuated with this show. So women like it even more than men. But it shows you that it's in the psyche of humans to be very attentive to the hawks and think they're the doves. But there will always be a certain ratio of hawks to doves. And the people who think they're doves and are very innocent, but they're very much on the alert for other people's exploitation, they are lurking and waiting for their time to exploit. Trust me, man. Half the people on this live stream, let me just tell you this, if you had a way and you could make $10 million right now or $100 million right now, but you had to buy product from a sweat factory in China, like, would you do it? You might be doing it right now. A lot of drop shippers following me. I'm like, bro, drop shipping at its core is finding extremely low cost of good products. Crypto. You think crypto is the most ethical thing on earth? Crypto is more centralized than fiat. The top 20 wallets in crypto control like 80-90% of the wealth in crypto. Crypto is a pseudo ethical. It's like this pseudo, it's insane. I believe in crypto, by the way. I don't believe in the people that believe in crypto, though. But I believe in the conceptual, non-governmental currency concept, So let's switch here from philosophy. Why'd I move out of California? Too high taxes. Fuck that. Taxes, I was paying 52.5% tax, 52.5% taxes. It's insane. Favorite car I've driven. I think the best luxury car is a Rolls Royce. Hard to beat a Rolls Royce. They're made very well. English know how to make cars. I've driven, Bugattis and stuff. I drove a Bugatti. I looked at a Bugatti in like 2016. I met the CEO of Bugatti actually, and I took out they had a 1600 horsepower, and I was like, what the fuck are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with a Bugatti? I used to be able to, you can take a Lambo and like go out to dinner and valet it. You're not gonna valet a $2 million car. And they're also dangerous, man. Driving a Bugatti is insane. If you stomp on the gas, you will crash instantly. So, am I Muslim? No. Do I look Muslim? Do I act Muslim? No, I'm not that religious. I mean, Muslim Christians got very Judeo-Christian kind of belief in many ways. They're more similar than people think. What book would you recommend for a 20-year-old? Good book to read, I would say, is One, I've been telling people since 2013, read the book, The One Thing. I think a great book to read. It depends on what you're doing. A very simple book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It had a big effect on Warren Buffett, talking about the way of the billionaire. That's a simple book billionaires like. I reread that book. Some of these classic books, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, it's a great book. Begin with the end in mind. You know, that's a powerful concept. It's a philosophy. Listen to Jim Rohn videos. I love Jim Rohn. I actually like Tony Robbins. Some people think he's cheesy. I don't find him cheesy at all. These fucking people are stupid that think Tony Robbins is cheesy. I'm like, what's cheesy? I'm like, you're watching TikTok. TikTok's cheesier, man. People lip syncing songs. Like, I don't even have a problem with it, but don't be calling like Tony Robbins cheesy and you fucking are watching chicks all day, like in booty shorts, fucking recreate dances like that. That on a cheesy spectrum, that's cheesier. What's another good book? There's a great book, a new book called Lessons from Titans. It's the best new business book I've read. Lessons from Titans. Ty, what do you think of Alex Hormozy, Patrick on YouTube? You know, I haven't seen much of him, but he seems like a sharp dude. Anybody who gets to the top's pretty sharp, you know? All these guys, Andrew Tate, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone. To get to the top, I'm not a hater. One thing, I'm not an envious person. Very rarely, a few times in my life, I've been envious. It's never people who make money. Only people I ever get envy is fucking pro basketball dudes. These guys, if you have if you want a life for your son, have him become a pro basketball player. Everybody loves you. You make money. You get paid to be healthy. Like all my pro basketball player friends, they get like the best physical therapists, the best trainers, the best chefs. They get to travel. So I never am envious. I've never met a billionaire that evoked 1 ounce of envy in me. Most of them are kind of goofy with women. I don't really emulate them. I mean, I don't really envy them. I do want to emulate them on the wealth creation standpoint. To me, they're kind of not one-hit wonders, but they have a competitive advantage on the accumulating capital and resources, and that I admire but not envy. So, all these people, Tate, like I've watched his stuff, I see him. I don't watch much social media. Hormozy, he seems to be, I'm not exactly sure what his main thing he teaches. I feel like Andrew Tate's kind of main thing is like, he's kind of like, be contrarian, see the world how it is. It's a little bit like, what's the psychologist everybody likes, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's sharp, he's a great speaker. He looks up to a guy named Dr. David Buss. Jordan Peterson says his biggest influence is a guy named Dr. David Buss, who's been my mentor since I was 2013. I talk to him about 3 times a week. So Jordan Peterson, I more follow Dr. David Buss, but Jordan Peterson has a great presentation style. You know, he very much, look, here's the thing. The world is becoming very fragmented across personality types, which are genetic. Being a Republican or Democrat is mostly genetic. I know that pisses people off, but it's somebody said, I'll tell you the biggest thing that I believe that nobody talks about. Almost everything's genetic. And that I will turn out to be right. 50 years from now, people will watch my videos and be like, this fucking Thai guy said shit that almost nobody would say. Nobody. Even the people you think that speak truth. Dude, genes are so powerful, you can't fathom. The stuff that you think is environmental, you know, it's environmental. They call it nature versus nurture bullshit. Almost every fucking thing is nature, not nurture. Now, there are things related to nurture. You can destroy your genes. So, for example, Shaquille O'Neal, I just had him on my first podcast for IBoughtBodybuilding.com. He's 7'2". That's all fucking genes, bro. You cannot eat fucking anything to become 7'2". But if he had an environment where his mom or dad had underfed him, the environment would have stymied his growth and he wouldn't have lived up to his 7'2" potential. So the whole bullshit about epigenetics and all this stuff is a lot of untruth and stretching of the science. I have a mentor that's a very mind-blowing guy. He's the father of modern evolutionary biology. He wrote a book called The Folly of Fools. If you all want to read real shit, like you're asking me about all these social media people, you all want to read the real thinkers? Like, you're not even in this, all the people you all are asking me about. Read Robert Trivers. Robert Trivers is probably the most cited biologist on earth. He came up with parent, child, basically the theory of parental and child conflict. He came up with a concept of reciprocal altruism. Some of the most powerful, all the textbooks now, these are like the real thinkers in the world. So a lot of people are on here and ask me about the thinkers on social media. The thinkers on social media tend to be people that are good at speaking, but they're not necessarily the deepest and the most powerful thinkers. And I mean that as no offense to people. I try to go straight to the source. If people are quoting, evolutionary theory in kind of anecdotal ways on TikTok, I just go read Dr. David Buss's textbook, Evolutionary Psychology. Fuck that. I don't need to hear secondhand shit. If you want to understand deep social truths and social dynamics, like I'm reading the textbook by Jung. You had Sigmund Freud, and then you had Jung. Jungian theory was kind of an offshoot. He's a Swiss, and I found, it's crazy, on my phone, I pulled up an iBook textbook by Jung. He's invented the word introvert, extrovert. So a lot of this theory, I go straight to the source. That's why The Way of the Billionaire, this book I'm working on, just go straight to the source. I've had conversations with Elon Musk. I don't have to listen to people's interpretation. Now, I don't know him well. We just went to the same kind of events, But I've had conversations. I try to glean as much as I can. Some billionaires I've only met for 10 minutes, and some I have ongoing conversations with, for years at a time. It's the same with philosophy, economics, and things like this. Almost everybody's wrong about everything, ladies and gentlemen. Almost everything is wrong. Almost everybody is wrong about everything. Just so you know. Like, I can give, you want the real truth? Almost everybody's fucking wrong about everything. Everything. Are me and Andrew Tate beefing? No. This is what I was just saying. I don't know Tate. We've DM'd and talked. He's a sharp guy, powerful guy. He seems to be a very quick thinker. What I'm saying is I have a specific philosophy of going, most of my stuff, I go to the original source. That has nothing to do with Andrew Tate or Alex Hormozy or Gary Vee or whatever. I'm going, who came up with this theory? Let me ask them. So for example, a lot of the social dynamics, there's a lot of videos now about men and women. Okay, there's accounts. I follow an account on Instagram. It's like Fraud Feminist, all the stuff feminists are saying. And there's a real rise of men versus women. There's a real rise in people who are left in understanding trans and all this stuff. And people who are that's all genetic. It's fucking a genetic conversation. And humans are very smart animals, so they can express their genes in a somewhat more convincing way, but they're still animals. So anyway, this conversation too complex for me to have on this, but just remember, almost everything's wrong. Almost everybody's wrong at everything, but you can go straight to the source. If you really want to understand the delusions of men and women, read the book by Robert Trivers, The Folly of Fools. That is a very powerful book. If you really want to know about happiness, you don't need to read the pop culture stuff and watch the pop culture TikToks on what will make you happy. Read Sigmund Freud's book. It's called Civilization and Its Discontents. It's so profound a book. It's the only book that I've read 100 or 200 times in 5 years. The second chapter, it's just like 10 pages. This is a person that has tremendous insight into human happiness. Sigmund Freud, almost everybody's wrong about everything. Many people will tell you Freud was a dumb guy who believed that you wanted to sleep with your mother. It's such an oversimplification of the genius that man had. And just remember, 100 years from now, your grandkids will laugh at Elon Musk too. He will look like a fool that he was trying to figure out an electric car. So to the extent that Sigmund Freud was incorrect on theories. He invented psychology single-handedly in many ways, and the theory of the subconscious. So all I was trying to say is, when you ask me what do I believe about these social media people, I'm more of a go straight to the source kind of guy. So for example, when I go to make money, I'm like, how can I emulate and learn from Steve Ballmer? That's the richest guy I've ever been, one-on-one kind of mentor conversation with. He made $100 billion. He built Microsoft with Bill Gates. He was the CEO for 20 years. I can trust his opinion. I asked him hard questions like, how can I have kids and I'm a busy entrepreneur? He told me he managed his time with an Excel spreadsheets to always be sure he had time for his son, even though he was the CEO of the largest company in the world at the time. And so I like learning from that guy. I don't need to fucking scroll through TikToks to find that answer. You know what I mean? I don't need to. Just go straight to the source. If you want to learn, how to play basketball, watch Michael Jordan videos. Like, you can reverse engineer a lot of, what's interesting? Kobe Bryant reverse engineered Michael Jordan almost effortlessly. I mean, not effortlessly, almost to the infinite detail. I like that about Kobe Bryant. I actually interviewed Kobe Bryant before he died. There's a little video on my Instagram. I asked him, do you have mentors? He said, I had a lot of mentors die. You can go find it. Scroll back about 6 months before he died. No, it was about 2 months before his last game. Yeah. He's like, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is my mentor. And he said he learned a lot from, Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan and Jackson. This is interesting. You will succeed to the extent you have people you can shadow early in life. I read an interesting book on Elvis Presley. The downfall of Elvis Presley was he had this manager named the Colonel who was very exploitative. And he took the most successful singer at the time, Elvis Presley, and he just destroyed Elvis Presley. So most of you are going to rise and fall based on the power of people that you emulate and learn from. It's pretty scary. And some of you will think you don't need mentors, but you're always being mentored by somebody. People that say don't need a mentor, they're on fucking social media. You're just using, subconsciously, you're being programmed by the algorithm. It's very hard to have an original thought. Pablo Picasso said, good artists copy, great artists steal. Are you rich? Depends who you compare me to. Rockefeller? No. Rockefeller had $600 billion net worth. Andrew Tate's whole shtick is trying to get you out of the matrix. Yeah. What is your favorite scientific book besides David Buss' Evolutionary Psychology? Richard Dawkins, Selfish Gene. That's a powerful book, boy. You have mania. How do you manage it? What kind of mania? You mean like bipolar? Manic? I do have a Lamborghini. I sold, not right now. I sold one. I had an Aventador. Thoughts on starting a career in investment banking? You can make a lot of money, investment bankers. I just did a deal and the investment bankers got $2.2 million for that. That was their fee. You can change your genes. Yeah, you can have kids with somebody. That's how you change your genes. For those of you who don't like something in your personality, find a woman or a man that doesn't have those genes. Genes dilute over time. That's your best thing. If you're a little bit crazy, whatever the fuck you do, don't procreate with someone crazy. A lot of things, schizophrenia, narcissism, are highly genetic. They're heritable. I think it's like 0.7 heritability. So epigenetics are not better than genetics. This is a myth. That is a narcissistic thing. People don't want to say, I am who I am, and some people are superior to me, but who cares? I once went to a party with JaVale McGee and LeBron James was there. This dude is superior to you and I physically. It's okay. Just fucking, when you see that guy, he is superior. No epigenetics is going to alter your genes. LeBron's head is like this big. This dude is a carrot. He is a modern Avenger. He is a modern Avenger. It's okay. I don't care. Lots of you have better genetics than me, and some of you have worse genetics. That's how the chips fall, man. That's how the chips fall, ladies and gentlemen. And to the extent that you can accept that, you're going to be happier. Epigenetics, there is some epigenetic truth that genes can be altered, but not as much as you think. Show me somebody who could have epigenetically altered into a 7'2" Shaquille O'Neal, who was, I just never. Ty, you have a great villain voice. Oh, there you go. LeBron James' head is that big because he is on steroids. No. LeBron James is 6'8", man. His hands are like this big. It's not steroids. He may be on steroids, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think he is. Shaquille O'Neal, I just did this interview with him. He's fucking big, dude. Shaq is, I've been around tall guys. Like I said, I'm friends with the guy, JaVale McGee. Dwight Howard used to shoot, they used to shoot a podcast for the NBA at my house in Beverly Hills. Nobody's like Shaq. Shaq is just insanity. Thoughts on software engineers and tech companies. Great business to be in. If you don't know what to do with your life, learn how to write software. Learn how to write software. That is a real skill that is not going away. Practical skill. You don't know what to do in life, start writing code. We're gonna take Radio Shack. I bought Radio Shack and we're gonna start putting a lot of education on coding. Learn how to code. There's crypto languages, then these newer kind of languages, and then there's old school coding. I mean, there's everything. I bought a company that has such an old POS system, point of sale system, that people who understand code from a long time ago, not even cutting edge stuff, can make money. Learn code, teach your kids code. That is a skill that is instantaneously valuable. That is a skill. I got a guy, I hire people all around the world. I've got a guy in Africa who works for me. He's fucking making crazy money and I do not care. Like, I'm like, shit, even if this world, you think this world's racist, the most racist Ku Klux Klan motherfucker will hire the darkest person on earth if that person knows how to write code. You think I'm joking? Fuck, I am not joking. The most Ku Klux Klan redneck motherfucker who's trying to build himself an app to make money will hire somebody, the darkest person on earth, and not care. Software is the great equalizer in the career path. I mean, it's for sure. How much do looks matter? They matter, man. Women care about looks, without a doubt. Here's the thing. Women have a complex, it's funny, I've been looking, in 2013, my first online education course was actually not going to be a business one. I bought this domain, Millionaire Life Coach. That was before I just did it under my Ty Lopez name. But I found this course. I wrote this course, I recorded it on what I thought it was an algorithm course that women's brain has 12 variables that they basically balance out and quickly calculate how attractive they find you. So if you are very unattractive in your face, for example, you can make it up. Like ugly dudes who are tall, but they're ugly in the face, they do okay, right? And guys who are short, but have a pretty face do well. So you can see the algorithm. So like Justin Bieber is short. Conor McGregor is a shorter guy, okay? But they're good looking in the face, so they do well. My guess is, I don't know, Justin Bieber's like 5'8" or something like that. And then you have there was a guy named Dikembe Mutombo. Anybody know Dikembe Mutombo? Funny story I heard somewhere. I don't know if it's true. Dikembe Mutombo is like 7 foot tall. Not the greatest looking dude in the face. And Dikembe Mutombo used to walk around into nightclubs and just say, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?" He didn't speak English, wasn't his first language, and women would like just go home with them and fuck them. Not a great face. Not a great face. So on the look side, now let's say you aren't tall and you don't have a great face. Then the simplest formula is fucking get yoked up will help you. Muscle, because women have an algorithm. So basically, it's interesting science I was reading. Dr. Buss sends me a lot of these kind of Harvard articles. Men are not much as strong and not much stronger than women in the legs. Women can fucking squat a lot. Becca Swanson is a woman I know. She squatted a Guinness Book World Record, I think 790 or something. Like most dudes can't squat 790, but her max bench was 601, which is still insanity. But the max there's a dude on Instagram I see benching 1200. He does these little half reps, but still it's 1200 pounds. So in terms of men, if you can get your upper body is very attractive to women. And you know what's the interesting reason? This is what this new science. Subconsciously, upper body strength is most correlated with the ability to kill another man. Men, before weapons, you remember Homo sapiens about 700,000, it depends who you ask, between 2 and 700,000 years old. So there's many, many thousands of generations of your ancestors. Men killed with their fists, a lot. And so men who had wide shoulders and muscular arms were very powerful. And so women kind of, if you don't have a good face and you ain't tall, get a strong upper body. Particularly your, the shoulder, all the muscles that go into punching, which is a V shape because your lats are where you punch from. Look at Mike Tyson's back. People forget your back is very strong. So that's why that V shape. It's not just a little waist. It's also your lats need to be strong. But then let's say you don't have muscle and you're fucking ugly and you ain't tall. Well, you still have multiple other variables that you can win on. Being funny, but having high status. Now, high status can overcome everything. It's insane. Now, status is more powerful than money. Remember that recent picture that came out where Leonardo DiCaprio is with that Sanchez girlfriend of Jeff Bezos, and she's got the richest man in the world here, but she's in love with DiCaprio. It's not just that he's good looking, he also has tremendous status. #1 movie star at one point, So status is powerful, and that's why men seek status. Men love status. Every dude wants to be the fucking Godfather. The Godfather has that status. And when you see people talking about it, it's like how to be an alpha and all that stuff. Men want to be an alpha because alpha translates into status, and status overcomes bad looks, and if you're short. And money works to the extent, money is not status. You can have a lot of money and not much status. That's why most people who are wealthy, so Donald Trump is at the bottom of the Forbes list, but he has a lot of status. And he's used that status to become the president of the United States. He's had many beautiful women, beautiful wives. He has very healthy kids, so it works. Now, Donald Trump is a tall dude, though, What about attractiveness in women? So there's this concept, yes, women, it's even more important because, anyway, everybody talks about, I don't need to talk about this. Everybody and their brother's talking about this on social media. Women are certainly judged harder than men. You know why we like beauty? Is because it shows low mutation load. Did you know that? There's something not everybody knows. Low mutation load. Low parasite load. High testosterone means you can withstand the negative effects. Testosterone is somewhat poisonous to the body. So a teenager that can that can withstand a lot of testosterone has a healthier and stronger immune system. That's why I said it's kind of all women and all men are just more ruthless than you think. When women are looking at men, they're looking at them through a ruthless lens. Like, can you fucking survive the ruthless effects of testosterone? Is beauty cultural? Some, but not as much as you think. Fucking Danny DeVito would be considered ugly in every damn civilization. Yanomomo Indians weren't in love with the midget ugly dude who's uncoordinated. Brad Pitt would have done well in any time. DiCaprio, Depp, all these dudes would have done well at any time. Look at this, the statue of David, Michelangelo's sculpture. He's got a six-pack abs. It's the same shit they're doing. Dudes are posting. Do I play video games? Man, I'm a weird dude. I literally got uninterested in video games around 16 years old or something. I don't know how, no hate. I don't know how motherfuckers like video games. It's weird to me, but hey, good luck. If that's what you like, life's probably a simulation. In 200 years, ain't nobody gonna remember anybody. So, fuck it. If you wanna play video games, I find it unappealing to me. Now, owning a video game company is very interesting. That is interesting. I have a friend who was the main shareholder in Grand Theft Auto. He made money, boy. He became the movie producer. Walter O'Brien became the movie producer for the Spider-Man movies. And the TV show Scorpion is named after him. First time I met him, he came to my house and he's like, we're going to get sushi. He's like, jump in the car. And he's like, this car is fucking armor plated with Barabbas steel. He's like, I can withstand a direct RPG hit. I'm like, bro, we're in LA. There's no RPGs. But anyway. It's crazy how everything about you is money. I've hardly talked about money on here. I was talking about status, and love, and looks. This is what people like now, boy. They want to hear the broad philosophy from the people that they follow. That's fine. I understand it. The more people there are in the world, the fewer people will really look up to. Isn't that interesting? In some ways, it's good. Like, the best way you could do the school system is not every single school have a history teacher, because there's not that many good history teachers. So theoretically, you take the best 10 history teachers in the world and stream them into every school in the world. That's kind of what YouTube is. Because I had shitty history teachers, so they ruin history for you. You have to memorize stuff like, 1861 to 1865 is the Civil War. That's not the interesting part of the Civil War. The dates are not the interesting part. So everything is ruined for people. Everything, like, history is the most fascinating thing on earth. I've never met a smart person who doesn't study history. Never. But, the greatest leaders, the greatest generals. Napoleon Bonaparte was the greatest general in modern history by far. He went to 62 major battles and won, I think, 54 of them. And he said, study the Caesars, study the Swedish guy, study Alexander the Great, study Hannibal. Why was I saying? I was saying it's interesting. The more people there are, the more people there are on Earth, the less people are going to be listened to. Like, now the Kardashians have combined like 500 million followers. It's insane. And as the population of this world, if it rises, theoretically it goes to 10 billion. Elon Musk says it's going to go down, but it'll go up first. A lot of countries are having a lot of kids. India, Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia. As the population grows, like, more people will listen. It won't even out. It won't be like, everybody's like now listening. Like, Ben Shapiro will get bigger and Biden will get bigger and Kardashians, and more people will listen to Conor McGregor, which actually theoretically can be problematic. The problem with social media is the person, and this is why I did a lot of stuff that got attention. You have to do things that get attention. You know what I mean? So that's why you see, like, an Andrew Tate, he needs to have a fucking Bugatti now because other people have had Lamborghini, So that's what you have to do. So it's just understandable. It's a race to craziness to get adoption. And people are going to have to say crazier things. Look at Kanye West. I mean, Kanye West is a living marketing machine. Same with the Kardashians. They always know how to stay in the news, but they do that by complexity, you know? Tell you actually sound like the Joker. Why do people say, I've been getting that a lot, that I sound like the Joker on Batman? Do I? Maybe. I'm an Aries. I think Aries are supposed to go. You go more insane the older you get, they say. Ty, when you listen to Ty, you get the feeling he held back on the 67 steps. I recorded the 67 steps in 2014. That was 8 years ago. Now I've been exposed to a lot more of the world because my stuff blew up, and all of a sudden the whole world was like in my brain. Like when you get a lot of people following you and interacting with you, it like is almost like a digital download, not necessarily for good either. It's like a complex, just like a vacuum cleaner effect, you know? And so that gives you different insight that I didn't have before. Would you do an interview with Ethan Klein? I was on H3H3 show. At first, H3H3 didn't like me, and then he came to my... Why does it say... My live access on TikTok was suspended. What the fuck? It says I did hateful behavior. What did I talk about? Maybe I said Andrew Tate. It's interesting. It says that I can't go live for 7 days. The fuck? This is the shit I'm talking about. What the fuck is this? Did I say something hateful? Is this what happened to Andrew Tate? Jesus, what the fuck are you talking about? My God. That's why, by the way, I'm coming out with, I got this app called Speakeasy. Did I say something hateful? I'm just trying to actually think. I'm not even mad. I'm trying to figure out what would their algorithm pick up. Maybe I said the word COVID. I said the word trans, but I was just talking about the world. I wasn't talking about an opinion. Because I said something about China? Probably because I said Andrew Tate. That's my guess. Actually, I said a lot of like right wing. I said Donald Trump, Kanye West, Andrew Tate, and Kanye West. That's probably those are like banned words on Instagram. I mean on TikTok. Good God. That is hilarious. Oh, well, I'm very interested. I'm sure it is. I wonder if it's from people like tagging you, or I wonder if it's algorithmic. It's very interesting. I'm going to take a picture of this. Your live access was suspended for violating our hateful policy. We do not allow content that attacks, threatens, incites violence against, or otherwise dehumanizes an individual or a group on the basis of protected attributes, including but not limited to race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion, use of slurs, unless the terms are reappropriated, used self-referentially, such as in a song. Are they talking about the N-word maybe? Or do not disparage, praise, promotes, glorifies, or supports any hateful. What did this is what we're talking about. What a world. It's gonna be an echo chamber. Maybe because I said Jeffrey Dahmer. Somebody wrote, "We love gays." Maybe I need to say that in every one of my things. What color is my Bugatti? What does that mean? I see people saying that a lot now. Let me Google. What the fuck does "what color is your Bugatti" mean? I feel like I'm the last person people need to be talking to about luxury cars. I've had all the luxury cars. But what does it mean? What's the point? Oh, It's a way of flexing. I've already done the flexing thing. I don't need to flex anymore. How much is in your bank account? I got many rebuttals to, I don't need, flexing is not something I have to do. You have to flex at the beginning, but not at the end. Women are success-based. What happens to freedom of speech? So now I'm going to look at YouTube. I think way too many people get canceled. That shit's, I do not believe in that. I think it's like, leave people on social media unless they're literally plotting the assassination of somebody. Just leave them. Who cares? Ty, your ego is bigger than your house, bro. Quit lying like you grew up poor. You were privileged and accept that. You had handouts your entire life. I mean, to the extent you're healthy and you're growing up, you're very privileged. But the thought that I grew up rich is not true. Not even close. In fact, I posted once on my Instagram, I'm like, here's the mobile home that I grew up. If you graduate high school living in a mobile home, you ain't that privileged. Let's just be a little bit clear. Is that true? Am I off base here? My name's Ty Lopez. I'm not black, but I'm not white. At least in my name, I am half white. But sure, the most privileged thing that happened to me is being born in the United States. You know, being born in the United States is a huge privilege in the sense that it's the highest GDP country in the world, relatively low regulations, although that's changing. But yeah. What do I know about commodities? I watch a lot of agricultural commodities. Food is the basis for, I mean, look, we have to grow more food in the next 10 years than you had to grow in the last 10,000 years. Isn't that insane statistic? So food is the commodity that I watch. Wheat is at about $9 a bushel right now. I just looked today. That's interesting to me. It's pretty high, $9. I grow wheat on some of my farms, corn. Commodities are rising on the food. I mean, wheat is a big indicator of a lot of things. Part of that has to do with the Ukraine. Someone says, Ty thinks he knows about women. This guy's got to be just trying to troll me. I know a thing or two about women, but no one knows that much about women. But I've dated a few pretty women in my life. Favorite book that I read right now. What's the best business to start today? Let's talk about that. Best business. I can tell you this. Two things. If you're super introverted, don't want to talk to any people, learn how to write code. That's number one. Number two. Simple thing. Learn the e-com game, which I would include social media in that. And I would put myself up on websites like Upwork, even like Facebook Marketplace. I would reach out to a whole bunch of Instagram accounts. Most of these, you know, Instagram has like a store now where like clothing brands can sell their stuff. They have like 2 likes. I would DM all those brands and say, let me fix your business. You can charge $2,500 a month for consulting, $1,000 to $2,500 even as a beginner. Pick up 10 clients, you're making $25,000 a month, man. Dad, I know, and you can live anywhere. And you don't have to be as good at it as you think. You just need to be smarter than them. You know? Hustlers University is the best business model, hands down. That's like an affiliate thing, right? How do I deal with stress and anxiety? This is an interesting question. Most of my life, I hadn't had much stress and anxiety. Now my businesses are much bigger, so I have more complexity. My holding company, the companies inside my holding company that I'm the CEO of and the majority shareholder of the holding company. is on track to do over 700 million in revenue this year. So I have a lot of responsibilities. That's why I don't do that much social. I'm doing this now more than normal. Best thing you can do is start your day with like actual visualization of what you want. Say to yourself, like, today's gonna be the most powerful day of my life. I know it sounds cheesy, but man, that thing work. Think about that. Do that. Simple stuff like that. Literally say to yourself, like, this is gonna be the most powerful week of my good life. That works for some reason. Now, there's a limit to it, okay? Stay in your lane, meaning don't visualize yourself doing something that's not your destiny. Does that make sense? So, look, if you're 5'1", don't be visualizing yourself as a pro basketball center. It ain't in the cards, man. Move on to something else. So, don't underestimate yourself, but you don't need to overestimate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just like the middle way. That's the way of Aristotle, you know, one of the great thinkers of all time. Okay, let me try something. I've seen all these people that want to go live with me. I forgot to ever say yes. I should say yes to somebody. Let's take a few guests. If you want to go live, just press the live with me. Let's take a few people live. Ty, always great insight when you chat. Thank you. How do you increase your status? Men gain a lot of status through intelligence is a simple way. People underestimate that. Cutting edge intellect, which is not something that you have to be Albert Einstein with. I'll tell you this, read, man. Reading instantly, I've seen this happen 50 times in my life. When you're reading something, you'll be able to offer people insight, even people smarter than you, and they will see that as kind of reciprocal altruism. Okay. Thanks for all the wisdom, Ty. Own a company now. Nice. Nice. All right, who is this? Who do I got here? Can't see you.
Hi.
What's up, man? Where are you?
I'm from Malaysia. Have you been to Malaysia before?
No, but I want to go. I was just talking about so much of the world lives in Malaysia now. It's great. What's the population where you are?
I think it's around 31 million, if I'm not wrong.
It's awesome. So what are you an entrepreneur or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still a student. I'm a final year student, but I follow your stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you learning? You learning to write some code? You learning marketing? What's the business goal?
I'm currently an accounting student.
Okay.
Yeah.
That comes in handy. That comes in handy.
I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah, because I see that your investments are, your mergers and acquisition investments are focused on Europe, if I'm not wrong. But are you planning to buy some businesses in Southeast Asia or Asia?
Send me a business. I don't know it, but I would like to do it. I feel like there's so much opportunity in Asia, but I don't know it well enough. Like I'm afraid, you know, like when you don't know the culture, but you should do it. That's what one of my mentors told me. He said, if you see something and nobody else is doing it, that's your sign. You should buy a company. I bet you, even in college, you can buy a little simple company. Look for somebody who's old, wants to retire. You take over the business and you make payments to them over 2 years. And you take over their business for them. I had a friend, he bought a fencing company in California. An older guy had a business. They just built fences in people's backyard. He bought it for almost no money, and he just paid the guy out of the profits for 5 years, and he bought a $5 million revenue company for almost no money. So that'd be a good thing for somebody like you. That's a simple thing you can do, man. Find simple businesses. And don't start with super complex ones. Don't start with sexy ones. Sexy businesses are harder to make money because there's more competition. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can still hear me. Might have broken up here. I think I lost signal with them. How do you talk to women at a gym that you find attractive? You know what? Oh, what's up?
How are you?
Good. How are you? Where are you? Anywhere I'd know?
LA.
U.S.? Oh, L.A. Nice.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in Canada.
Oh, Canada. What part? Quebecois?
No, I did spend some time there, but I'm in British Columbia.
Okay. But you don't have a Canadian accent.
You have a Canadian accent?
No, you don't have one. Do I hear one?
No. I sound like I'm from California.
I was going to say, where are you from originally? British Columbia?
Yeah, British Columbia. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my God. Sorry. A little nervous, not gonna lie.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, from British. There are some words that I say in a Canadian accent more, but yeah. What do people normally talk about when they're on here? Because honestly, this
No,
is my first
nothing.
time.
Like, tell me, what's keeping you busy? What are you excited about? What are you mad about? What are you frustrated with?
You don't want to know what I'm mad about.
No, I want to know. Okay, now I want to know. It's not about me, right? You're
No,
not.
it's not.
Okay.
It's more like how there were a few like keywords earlier that you mentioned that kind of start triggering the algorithm, or maybe might. Excuse me. I'm nervous. Like the example, the Kanye word or the Tate word. There are stuff like that might, keywords that might not do good for your social media, essentially.
I know. I should have hired you. Look at this thing. Appeal submitted. It'll take 24 hours to review your appeal. Man.
Cool.
Hey, can I ask you this? Can I ask you a question? This guy is asking me in YouTube. And I have my opinion, but I want to hear your opinion because you have probably a better opinion than me. He's asking, how should he approach women at the gym that he finds attractive? What is your advice to him?
Okay, I go to the gym and I've had some men approach me. What I was thinking about yesterday, that's just really important about men approaching, is just that it's impressive itself when you actually just have the balls to go speak to a woman. Because, sorry, I'm nervous right now. But yeah, it's just, if you have the balls, just get up and go to a woman, that's enough. Obviously, wait for a good time. Hopefully she doesn't have to, take out her headphones to talk to you. But, yeah, I don't know. Just wait for a good time when you guys are crossing paths and it's convenient, and just be confident. That's major. Yeah.
But do you think a woman can also be like, don't talk to me at the gym? Do you ever think there's an environment where just women, where the best advice is just don't do it at the gym? Or do you think it's good to do at the gym?
If she's she just finished a sprint, she's not going to feel sexy. She's not going to feel ready to talk to you. And if she's upset that you spoke to her, let's say it was a good time and she does get upset, who cares? It's kind of who cares? Rejection is something we got to come across sometimes.
You need to have your own podcast, man. You can give some advice here. Because I feel like dudes I've never talked to a woman at the gym. I feel like, first off, women sometimes are traumatized by guys coming up to them too much at the gym, So it's but maybe I'm wrong. I think it's also cultural. I'm in Sweden right now. Talking to strangers really traumatizes people. California is when you live in LA, by the way, if guys are shy, go to LA. Everybody wants to be recognized. I heard this comedian, Fahim Anwar, he's the secret in LA is just walk up to people and just be like, I'm a big fan of your work. People will be like, thank you. You got to go to the United States. I mean, you got to go to LA if you want to learn how to talk to women, because no woman gets offended. Just pretend you're her fan. Even if she hasn't been in any fucking movie. She'll be like, I'm going to be in one soon. Anyway.
That's what I say. for me, it's different because I'm very easy to approach. Often I'm the one starting conversations, so I don't know if I'm the right person to give advice for that.
Okay.
But what I would just say is shoot the shit and hope it works out.
So you don't mind if guys come up to you and shoot their shot?
No, I'm a people person. I have conversations with strangers quite regularly, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, okay, what else is on your mind?
What else is on my mind? Just personal life, really. I'm at the early stages of my life, and just development is on my mind. I don't know if I want to go into detail. It feels quite vulnerable. So, yeah.
So, are you? Let me ask you this: Do you feel anxious a lot?
Yes, I'm a very sensitive person and kind of an overthinker, especially if I'm not busy. Like, I need to keep myself busy. It helps. But nighttime is usually when those like thoughts creep up or something, which I think is kind of our usual thing. Yeah.
You know what? Somebody just said, going back to TikTok, I mentioned the Ku Klux Klan. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, that's probably it. I feel like Andrew Tate is like, it's definitely one of those words.
Yeah, so you got Andrew Tate and fucking Ku Klux Klan, and I was talking about, but I was talking about it not in like a racist way. I was saying if you know how to write code, anyway, I'm not even going to say that anymore. That's very interesting. That's the problem with AI. Like, it's going to start picking up on and create echo chambers because it's just going to block everything. It's pretty interesting. So what?
Even happened? Did you get like a warning or what?
No, I got blocked for 7 days. I can't do a TikTok for 7 days. Somebody said it's because I said the word ugly. Oh.
Something that affected your TikTok.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. We'll see. It says, is the information above accurate? No. TikTok misunderstood my live content. Thank you. That's what I'm going to put. Feedback submitted.
Good for you. Standing up for yourself.
Somebody said it's because I said Bill Gates. So what, do you own a business or what's your thing? Like, how you making money?
So I just left my job as a baker and I've switched over to something that gives me more time to build my business selling life insurance. Very new to the industry, but that's what I'm up to now. Yeah.
You know, I did life insurance. I'm going to tell you this. If you
Yeah.
go sell life insurance, you can sell anything. Because think about it. Life insurance, you are selling something that doesn't benefit the person until they die. That's a hard sell. That's a hard sell.
Unless like critical illness or if there's like policies like, I don't know, universal life and stuff. But yes, you are right. Yeah. But unless you're a person like for me, I have a policy on myself and I'm super excited just with the idea that like one day if I have children, they get that. So that's actually just an idea that excites me. So everyone thinks differently, but.
Here's a secret to selling life insurance. I'm going to tell you this right now. Sell to the wife. Because men are like, if I die, I don't want my wife getting all this money and getting another husband using my money. So when I sold life insurance, I would tell the dude, your wife's going to love you for this. Do it for your wife. I'd get the wife on the phone if I do it in person. And then the husband would see like that the wife was like really liking this, and that closed the deal. You have to use multi-dynamics because life insurance, sometimes I would just talk to the guy. That's how I started using the internet for life insurance. Generate life insurance leads. Now it's hard. Like, it's expensive to bid on keywords. Life insurance is like $20 a click. It used to be 20 cents a click. It's pretty insane. So.
What do you like to run an ad? What do you
Yeah.
mean, sorry?
Like Google AdWords for life insurance keywords used to be 20 cents for one click. Right now you have to bid like $17. It's insanity. Insanity.
Honestly, I have not ventured into like putting out how to even do it, how much it costs. I didn't even know that what you are advertising kind of determines how much it costs. I had no idea.
Yeah, you bid on keywords. That's why. Also, use a referral program. There's certain laws sometimes on what you can pay, but if you can get your current people to refer 3 people that you can talk to, that helps a lot. That's an old school, that's not a cutting edge kind of idea, but that works. You know, that works.
That's focusing on now until I'm more like developed in the industry. Then I'll go on and do more advertisement stuff where I reach out to more strangers.
Yeah.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
I following your page for a few years. I remember there used to be a really funny guy that you used to be on your Instagram quite a bit. I don't remember his name.
Zach.
Who?
Zach.
Zach.
Yeah. Yes, I need to. He's in Texas. He was traveling with me, and he's doing Airbnb now. So he's making money with he's making money with one of the systems that I taught. But yeah, he's gonna be super happy you said that. He loves attention. You literally should DM him. He loves it. Anytime a woman would be like, "Where's Zach?" I would actually let's record a little video for him. He's gonna be very happy. I'm gonna WhatsApp it to him. Hold on. So you gotta be like an actress. Say it over like you're saying it the first time. Let me send it to him. Oh. Okay.
I'm gonna. Oh, where's that guy?
So who were you asking about?
I was wondering where your friend Zach is. I find him very funny.
Zach, she finds you very funny. She also said extremely attractive and funny. Look at that. Zach, you gotta come back. He'll be. You always gotta throw a little flattery into men, even if they don't believe it. Men are more susceptible to flattery than women. It's hilarious.
I agree because they get it less.
Yeah, and just like there's actually science that men are more miscalibrated on their looks. Like there's a lot of dudes that think they're good looking that aren't. Women get more feedback from other women and society, so there's less delusional women. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that. A lot of guys think women are delusional, but there's real science that men are much more delusional on how they look. So
they might perceive themselves as less attractive or something, or
usually more.
Okay.
More. I was at the gym. Oh yeah, I was at the gym today and I was just watching it was the gym had so many guys there. And this is in Scandinavia, so there's a lot of beautiful women here. But I was like at the weights, this one section was all guys, and I was just watching the guys looking in the mirror. I was just thinking, oh geez, fucking.
The thing is, when you're at the gym, I feel like, I don't know what, maybe testosterone would make you more confident in your looks. I feel like that would be the hormone, but like when you're pumping your muscles and your testosterone's going, because like even me, like I get manly in the gym and like if no one's there, I'm flexing. So I could imagine for a guy it's even stronger.
Are you what I noticed, it's funny, like the differences, like men are mostly looking at the upper body, like biceps, and women stare at their butt in the gym. It cracks me up.
Yes.
So the question is that because of the Kardashians? Is that a new cultural thing? Or have always women been infatuated with their butt?
I feel like that changes all the time just because like we can see like early 2000s the very like skinny look was in. And to be honest, that's like hard to say because I feel like most men are attracted to both the lean figure and the thick figure. It just, depends if it looks healthy. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you from having, like I used to have a lot of.
Either body figure.
I used to have a lot of, like parties on my social media. Men definitely more men comment on curvier women in my experience than anything. If I would put curvy women on my Snap or on my Insta story, way more responses. And I also think guys like the girl next door look. If a woman's too beautiful, in Spanish you call it gata. It's like that really striking face. Men get intimidated and don't connect. It's like, you look at OnlyFans, some of these OnlyFans women that are making just like $1 million a year, there's more curvy ones than like stick figure supermodel look. There are people that like the supermodel look for sure, but I would say, I don't even think it's close. I think a girl next door with curves gets like more men, it's more relatable, I'll put it that way.
I feel like definitely curves always been attractive, but definitely I feel like the time that it is now has made people more into it. You know, the whole Kardashian era, we can call it.
Well, good. I'm glad you came on. We'll have to connect again. Come back on.
I will. Okay, thank you so much. That was fun.
Thank you for saying that for Zach. Zach is literally Zach's gonna reply in like 5 minutes. Zach's gonna be very excited that you did that. So thank you for
countless times, so my heart goes to him. Bye, everyone.
all right, bye.
Ciao, ciao. How do I hang this up?
I'm not even sure. You know, I was looking, I was like, how do you even, is there a way to even hang up here?
I don't know how to hang it up.
Let's see if this is even possible. Okay. I can turn off the whole stream. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, there's request to join.
Dude.
Let's
I just want to continue watching. I could leave. How about that? I exit and then I do it again.
I know, but I want to know how to do it. Like, what if you didn't want to leave? Would you just stay on here forever? All right, who knows?
I'll just run your stream all night.
It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. People don't have to look at my face the whole time. This guy said amen. He likes you being on my stream. All right, who is the first person? Why do they not have an X on it? That's insane. I told you, Instagram is gonna like lose in the damn game. Ty, go meditate or something. God, that's what somebody wanted to write me. What do you think about the economic situation in Puerto Rico?
I don't want to overwhelm my stay. I'll close my stream for you, and then I'll join back on chat.
Oh, I see where to do it. I got to do it on the arrow up in the top. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Go.
Damn, I finally figured out how to do it. They make this so complicated. Do I think the market correction will exceed 20% from here? Sure. In certain stocks, it's going to pop down more than 20%. For sure. I mean, not for sure, but highly likely. Best thing to grow on the land. Simplest thing is chickens. Chickens is like, if you could have one animal, they're relatively small. They can eat your food scraps. They're omnivores. They eat almost everything. So, yeah, chickens, man. People should have their own backyard chickens. They're easier to fence in than, say, goats are super hard. Cows are more dangerous, especially to city people that don't know. Rabbits, yeah, but rabbits are tough to keep in. Rabbits dig under stuff. Chickens can give you something to eat without killing them, right? Like, how are you gonna eat a rabbit? You have to kill it. Then you don't have the rabbit anymore. And a lot of people are traumatized. I've killed every animal. I do not like killing rabbits. That is something I leave alone. If anybody ever been on a farm, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't grow rabbits. Chickens, like I said, they can live their life out. The main problem you can have with chicken is predators. Dogs, foxes, everything tries to, hawks. I got a farm with a couple thousand chickens. So, all right, let's talk a little business, then I'm gonna head to sleep. I didn't realize what time it is. Yeah, rabbits. I'm not a rabbit guy. Leave rabbits for the wild. Big fan since 2016. My life wouldn't be the same without you. Just want to say thank you, Julian. Well, thanks for the compliment, man. Best business to start in 2023. Get a little e-com consulting business. It's the best thing. Do viral videos for people. Edit their Shopify store for them. Do Facebook ads. Like, Facebook ads, not that complex to learn. Not that complex. Copywriting you can do, but you need to know how to write, you know? What I think about Web3, I mean, Web3 is fine. Web3 is the whole crypto angle on stuff. Web3, you know, it's already happening. You got NFTs, you've got all of this kind of world decentralized, but remember, things take a while to adopt. And so you can be early to something and it'll take you a while to get the benefit that you want. Crypto is very volatile. I still believe in crypto. It's just a volatile thing. You're going to have the personality trait that can handle insane volatility. Bitcoin was at 68,000 and like pops down to 19, 18,000. A lot of people can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people can't handle the volatility. So you have to be able to deal with that. And that's why, and also crypto is relatively easy to build competitors. So you have an inundation of different brands, which creates confusion. There's a low barrier to entry. It's not hard to make. You can fork existing code. That's the whole idea of crypto, right? So you can fork stuff. Yeah, I'm on a ball. I don't like to sit on a regular chair. So crypto has that competitive problem. So you get infinity brands being created and people don't know what to invest in. People are like, oh, Ripple and all this. And then there's these, you know, there's kind of like infinity new coins that are built, and that's tough for people to deal with, you know. What about distractions? How do you deal with distractions? Set a timer. That's what I do. I do things in 18-minute spurts. What are the benefits of sitting on a ball? Like sitting on a chair, it's too hard. It's tough on your low back. Moving around. Basically, being sedentary is tough on you. What about doing credit repair? Yeah, you can do that. It's a complex business, though. There's a lot of regulations around it. Ty, why are you promising dreams, bro? Telling people to run Facebook ads for businesses is dreams? It's not such dreams, is it? What country has the best women? Depends what you want, man. Depends what you want. If you like extroverted, go to Brazil, go to Los Angeles, you know. If you like introverted, go to Scandinavia. But I mean, I'm oversimplifying the words. Somebody wrote India is the best place. Ty, which course of yours do you recommend now? Man, I still think SMMA works so much. I'm going to putting out a new version of it. How do you find your voice and becoming a public speaker? I mean, I think being a public speaker is a combination, generally, of natural interest in public speaking. Anybody can learn to be a public speaker, but to really be good at it, soccer, you have to want to play it a lot. So in general, people, like the greatest speaker in history was this guy Demosthenes. He was a Greek orator, and he had a stuttering problem, but he loved speaking so much, he just would spend, 20 hours a week practicing public speaking. And so he was able to overcome his stuttering problem, but he loved public speaking. So the key thing is you can have impediments to what you're trying to do, but if you don't love it, you're not going to be that good at it. I was always able to be a public speaker. Generally, public speakers are extroverts. If you look at the people in general on social media who do the best as public speakers, there's extroverts. But I mean, the most followed guy on social media, what's that guy's name? He's from Africa, and he has this like insane following now. He's the most followed person on TikTok. What's that guy's name? Who knows what it is? Oh, it's funny how Instagram has a lag. But anyway, that guy's an introvert, so he doesn't even talk on his Instagram, on his TikToks. So that's how you got me reading 7 years ago. Good. You learned about reading. Yeah, Kabi is his name. Ty, what are your thoughts on a recruiting business? Companies pay 20 to 30%. Yeah, that's a great job. Recruiting talent for people. It's not even that hard to start. Absolutely. I think building an HR recruiting business is a great business to do, and you get paid. You get paid. I pay those guys a lot of money. Any advice on promoting a cleaning business? Pay people to give you referrals. Tell your existing customer, if you know the value of a customer, let's say the value of a customer lifetime's $10,000, pay like $2,000 for somebody of one of your existing customers that you do cleaning to refer a friend. Maybe not 2,000. I mean, if your LTV is lower, lifetime value, if it's $200, then focus on pay a $200 commission. All right, Donovan. I rarely block people, but Donovan is like, bro, we get it. We get your shtick. It's boring now. Always be interesting, never be boring. Do I drink or smoke at all? Yeah, I usually block one person a stream out of 50,000 people who join. Some people are just fucking boring. I'm like, bro, you can't be that boring. I don't mind haters, but you gotta be a little bit of an interesting hater. You have to make me think maybe you have a point. A hater to me, I'll keep them on if I'm maybe they have a point. The second I think you don't have a point, I'm gonna be all right, you're annoying. Tyre, I'm an introvert and in management. Any advice on how to be? You can be a successful leader as an introvert. In fact, I'm reading the book about Harry Truman, President of the United States. He was a leader in World War I, and he was an introvert. He led by example. Some introverts lead oftentimes not so much by talking, but by what they do. But there are some people, to be clear, who need to be led with words. So humans kind of bifurcate. Some people want to be led by introverts, and some want to be led by extroverts. So to the extent that you have to find your followers, Thoughts on social anxiety, very common, a little bit hard to overcome for some people, but it can get better. Some people I never had social anxiety. That's a classic sign of an extrovert. I'm more extrovert. My dad was an extrovert. To the extent that you're super introverted, that's what I was saying. It's fine, why do you need, this is my thing. If you're a super introvert, why do you need to become an extrovert? There's a lot of people that their life purpose is to become an extrovert. I'm why do you have to become an extrovert? Why? What's the point? I don't get it. Man, it's insane. Instagram comments are lagging. They're 20 minutes behind. Maybe YouTube's gonna win the game. Because sometimes you can't get a job if you have social anxiety. Start your own business. Write code. It's a great thing. If you have social anxiety, learn how to write software. Then you hardly have to interact. You'll have to interact a little bit, but not much. My girlfriend is extroverted by nature and thus slightly flirty. How do you deal with that? So you're saying you kind of get jealous because she's super flirty? Look, man, the jealous gene, and that's another thing, believe it or not, that's genetic. It's environmental too. Some people are just oftentimes people have a lot of testosterone, although not just testosterone, even high levels of estrogen. These are some kind of a mixture of genes will make you, and if you're a supernaturally jealous person, just don't date somebody that's crazy flirty. I mean, why? Why torture yourself, man? What's the point? But if it's just a minor amount, then you'll learn to get over it. But I'm not gonna, a lot of people will just tell you, be tougher. But I think some people are sensitive, man, and you're not gonna be able to get over it. So, how do you start out writing code? There's all these websites. We're gonna put some stuff on Radio Shack. Learn to write code. God, it's a powerful thing, man. Almost every rich dude in the world learned to write code. Elon Musk learned to write code. Mark Cuban wrote code. Mark Zuckerberg wrote code. Bill Gates wrote code. It's poosh. It's insane how few people learn to write code. Everybody learned to write code. Almost everybody. That's the hyper wealthy now. Ty, do you wish you had entered the M&A world sooner? I entered the M&A world. I bought businesses even really early in my career. But yeah, I mean, buying stuff is the way of the billionaire. All right, I'm gonna go to bed soon. I'm getting tired. I rarely get tired. Do you know another way of the billionaire? A lot of energy. I rarely get tired. Those of you who get tired early, test your damn blood. See what's wrong. Sometimes you can figure it out. Test your blood. What about cannabis industry? Just the dangerous thing in the cannabis industry, it's just going to be commoditized. It's a plant, and people are going to learn to grow it cheaper and cheaper every year. Who's the smartest person you know? Robert Trivers, maybe. Richard Dawkins. I have a mentor who won a Nobel Prize in economics. He's a smart guy, Professor Christopher Pissarides. He's a sir. He's the queen. You made him a sir at London School of Economics. I've got a mentor who's a Harvard professor. He's smart. My business partner's smart. There's a lot of smart people in the world. You'd be surprised. It's just there's so many. The world's lost its way on a common sense scale. That's what's happened in this world. The world's lost its way. We're too disconnected from the land. And so even smart people have lost common sense. How do you find someone you trust transferring money through your business? Use a bank, man. Even though you can't always trust a bank. But what do you mean? Do you have some dude like funneling money for you? Are you giving him a sack of cash like the Wolf of Wall Street? Is memory an important requisite to being financially successful? I think so. You should. There's good videos on YouTube how to improve your memory castles, all this kind of stuff. You do need to improve your memory. Is something that has positive externalities in many ways. You know. Ty, what key elements do you check for in a potential new girlfriend? Dr. Buss said, find somebody who reverts to the emotional baseline quickly. So basically people, forget men or women, just humans. There's some people when something throws them off, they go way off baseline emotionally and they stay there for a long time. Be careful of that person. You want somebody when they get mad, they come back to normal relatively quick. When they get sad, they come back relatively quick. See what I'm saying? That's the thing to look for in a business partner, in a family member that you want to spend time with. You don't have to spend time with all your family. So yeah, neuroticism is kind of an old school word that's not used so much in science. But yes, what's the technical term for this? I forget, but it's a reversion to baseline. So one thing Dr. Buss told me, before you go into a long-term relationship, travel with somebody, because stress brings out the truth in people. So not tremendous stress, but like stress of traveling, for example, will bring people back to show you how quick they move back to baseline. Neuroticism is an old school way of saying that, you know. So that is important everywhere. Is nihilism bad? Yeah, I mean, look, nihilism, every human at some point is going to wake up and be a nihilist for a little while. You're going to be like, what's the point of life? And everybody dies and this and that and that. But you can't just always stay a nihilist. I mean, you could, but what's the point? It's not that accurate of a theory that it's just always right. It's like being a stoic. You don't always need to be a stoic. You don't always need to be Epicurean. You should modulate between philosophies on life. What law of attraction what was law of attraction part? I kind of believe in law of attraction. I think there's parallel universes, and I think you can choose which one you want to live in. A lot of real scientists, including people like Stephen Hawking, believed in parallel universes. So So I think that's how I think about it. Law of attraction is a different way of thinking about it. It's a more simple way, which is fine. But I think there's such thing as a soulmate. There's highly compatible people that will appear to be your soulmate. How do you upgrade your social circle when you live in a small city? Online, man. You can build a little bit of a group. You just need to talk to them all. You can meet online, but make sure you move off online relationships to offline. You know what I mean? Some good books. I told you, this book, Lessons from Titans. That is a book everybody should be reading right now. Lessons from Titans. Lessons from Titans. I'm looking to start out a business in Nigeria, raising capital. Man, there's so many ways to raise capital now. It's pretty interesting. It's a good world. There's Reg A's you can do. There's Kickstarters you can do. 48 Laws of Power. I've never been as much of a fan of that book. That book teaches you to be highly Machiavellian, which somewhat works, but it's not. It's a one-trick pony. Being a highly cynical, skeptical, sneaky person, it's not as effective as you think. Why do people say money is evil? Money is just powerful, man. So money is like a pit bull. Some people think pit bulls are evil, but they're not really evil, right? They're just powerful dogs. And what's more likely to be hated on? A sparrow or a pit bull? But in certain situations, pit bull will save your life, Did you always have a lot of friends, or did you meet them through networking? A good way to make friends? Man, go join some kind of sports thing, like at any age, like a soccer, football, basketball. If you're not good at it, join some uncoordinated group. So everybody's not coordinated, so you don't look bad. All right, I'm gonna head out. This is a long call. I did 2 Instagram ones. All right, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Man, a lot of comments. Interesting.